cats. What do we really know about these creatures, these ethereal beings who hail from the moon? We do know that when a cat falls in love with another cat, they are non-gender binary, of course, they approach one another. Now, when they meet, they lick each other vigorously on the scalp, and then they fuck. It's a natural culmination in a typically human process. Contrary to popular belief, cats are actually not mammals and lay eggs, cat eggs. Once the cat has been impregnated by another cat, the eggs grow inside the female or male cat, and they roll around looking at cupboards and doors. Very typical behavior. Doors have always posed a problem for cats who, without opposable thumbs, cannot open them. But the mother or father cat carrying cat eggs will find a way to get through, to find a more comfortable room that has a better cat-static about it. So, when upon finding the correct place, which, as you can see, usually has a note above it, they'll crawl inside, get very, very, very cozy, and prepare for the egg-laying ceremony. As cats' natural habitat is the moon, where there is little gravity and lots of cheese, they have to plant themselves in a location in order to better recreate the atmosphere of the moon where they come from. And on the moon, this is where they are created by angels, as cats are a demotic beacon. Oh, and here we have, quite graphically, the first cat egg being laid. Significantly more graphic than certainly I had anticipated. And the egg comes out, and there it is, with 4 legs and a tail. Lovely little cat egg, and the cat can lay up to 12 eggs per hour. And there's a lot of discharge there. Like I said, significantly more graphic than I thought that it was going to be. And the mother or father cat, now just relaxing and trying to maybe pop out a couple more, if possible, I suppose. And as you can see, the egg, the cat egg, looks like a cat, but I assure you, it is an egg. And like all eggs, I would imagine very, very tasty indeed. So the mother or father cat is now cleaning the eggs, and what I would love to see is half a baker's dozen, which would be 6.5, which is an odd number if I think about it, but here we have the eggs crawling up towards the mother or father, who is obviously very tired and panting like a dog. Historically, of course, though, cats and dogs are marvelous bedfellows. They love one another greatly, and a number of different alliances have been formed over the years between the two species, who very much enjoy one another's company. Now, an interesting fact about cats as well is that they can have multiple, good God, they can have multiple partners and therefore multiple eggs from different cats, which is why you get such a diverse range of fur and eggshell types. And of course this parent cat is what we would refer to as a striped fighter cat, known back on the moon for exceptional strength and dexterity. And we can see, with regards to the eggs, there's 3 moon-faced cats, which are the white ones, and 1 power puss, which is the black cat. And there's the mother/father lying back, and again looking like they're going to become a little agog. Here we have some feeding. The baby eggs are crawling all over the shop, really, which must be very annoying. Human babies, of course, when expelled from the womb, don't particularly move. They can't. Cats, on the other hand, are very dexterous, straight out of the box, if you pardon my terminology. Right. So, they've hatched now, as you can see. They're lovely little furry faces, but they're hungry. And they see a lovely bowl of goulash on the table. And the parent cat eats the goulash rather selfishly, because the little kitties are left behind with little to nothing in the way of sustenance. And if you look closely at their faces, you can see that they don't have eyes. That's because they inherit their eyes from the moon at a later date. So the Queen of the Moon will send down small, marble-esque, pearlescent eyes to just be popped into their skulls. Anyway, here's the parent back after having greedily eaten all that goulash, which looked lovely, might I add. And now the little kitty cats decide to just sort of parkour or parpaw all over the place. They're just sort of running amok. Their executive functioning is poor, to say the least. And then look out. Here's trouble. It's the not so present partner. Now, tails are how cats communicate, and it's also how they fly. They sort of get a helicopter motion and can traverse small gulfs, small spaces, nothing too long. They couldn't fly across the Atlantic Ocean or the Pacific Ocean, but they could certainly cross, let's say, the English Channel. So they could go on a day trip to Amsterdam, or maybe even go further afield and go to France and just have a lovely day out with the family. Anyway, so this schmuck has shown up, and it looks like he's brought with him some origami. Now, cats, lovely fans of origami. They like to fold cranes and other birds because they find birds entertaining. When they see a bird outside or what have you, they often go arr, arr, make funny little noises that don't really mean anything. It just means that they're entertained. Oh, trouble in paradise. It's fine. Right, so now, when cats open their mouths, many people think that this is because they're trying to communicate or make clear their intent. It's actually their version of singing. So cats are particularly fond of jazz. jazz music, improvised jazz. So their beats, their tempos will be freeform, and they, punch there, which is completely unacceptable, obviously. But I believe these are 2 male cats. That's because cats don't exhibit prejudice like humans do, so they're very, very laid back and accepting, and ultimately non-traditional family units. Certainly non-traditional by contemporary standards. This is 1947, after all. Anyway, you can see here singing a bit of ambient noise, having a little cuddle or cooch. No eyes yet, as I mentioned. These are later assigned by the Queen of the Moon. And here we have what is known generally as a dinosaur cat. You can tell them by the tortoiseshell pattern on their fur, and they actually date back to pre-Cretaceous times. As you can see, having a mild seizure, nothing to worry about though. Just like Julius Gaius Caesar, who had the terrors, the night terrors. This cat is destined to be a great leader, being a dinosaur cat, and suffering from the terror. Now, what we have here is the parent just making sure that the dinosaur cat is alright, and turning the white cats into a generic cushion or pillow. Again, we have them crowding around like everyone waiting for at a party. And here's a stranger. What do you want, chap? Look at them rolling around like buffoons. One of the closest guided secrets of the cat community is their former affiliations to far left groups. Typically, cats found themselves aligning with Trotsky, Marxist views, some of them Leninist, and this caused a lot of problems at the turn of the century. Specifically, when the venerable leader brought the first communist cat across the border, Miao Tse-tung, yes, and as you can imagine, after a number of cats were separated, and so great efforts were put into transporting these estranged cats from one location to another throughout the Eastern Bloc. It wasn't always easy to do, you have to understand. But these Leninist left-wing ideals began to wane within the last decade. Certainly after World War II, which has just ended 2 years ago. And cats, once again, became libertarians. Very, very focused on self-sufficiency, or autarky, or portarchy. Living in the wilderness and generally trying to grow their own crops, build their own houses, grow opposable thumbs, pull on tails, and sort of just roll around, really, with no specific agenda or plan. And ultimately, we believe now that we have discovered the end goal of cats. It is true that for some time we have believed that cats have been attempting to dig a hole through the earth. For what purpose, we are still unsure, but it almost certainly has something to do with electromagnetic forces. As you can see, these recently hatched cats, their sense of balance is awful. They're all over the shop. Look at this one, he looks like he's had 10 pints, shaking his little tush like that. And that one is so wasted that he can't even stand without support. The father shouting at them to get a grip. You know, you're just babies, you shouldn't even be drinking. Now, the reason they are digging this hole through our planet, the human planet, it is postulated that it is an attempt to interfere with the orbit of our favorite satellite here on Earth, the Moon, and bring it down closer to Earth so that there's less of a gap to bridge if they ever want to visit the Queen of the Moon, because that's where she lives. And as you can see, they also build towers in an attempt to get closer to the Moon, for they are envoys of the Moon, angelic creatures sent to remind us that actually keep your bloody paws off the Moon, because it's not up for grabs. We've got it. The cats, that is, not me as a human. And then, you know, this little chap trying to climb up there, and the other one grabbing at his tail like nobody's business. Oh, and there we go. Big surprise. Only had 3 tequilas and already rolling around like a fool. Well, who can blame them, right? It's Friday somewhere in the world. That's not exactly how time works, but you get the gist. And here we go. On the little buggers finally scaling Babel to reach the Moon and pay homage to the Queen of the Moon. Now, of course, a female cat is called a queen, so maybe there's some truth in what I've been blabbering about. Certainly there's truth in... Oh, look at this. Cats, of course, also avid fans of football, tend to get quite hooligan-like if they have a few too many pints, or if their team starts to lose. Mainly fans of Tottenham Hotspur, or I can't think of any others, but that's the only one I could think of. But you know, there are others out there that you can probably think of too. Fun game. And here we go. Now, the power has shifted. The old Marxist-Leninist cats making way for the new Libertarian Front, whose sole purpose is to drill a hole entirely through the outer crust of our planet in order to disrupt the magnetic field and gravitational pull of the Moon, to bring it closer so that when they construct their towers to reach the Moon, they will be able to converse with the Queen of the Moon, who is the one who gives them eyes. So they are sent, just to sort of review, they are sent from the moon to follow a path that will lead to them bringing the moon closer to the earth, because that's where they get their eyes, their little marble, pearlescent eyes. And one day, soon I hope, we will see them rise as the new sentient life on Earth, because I think, humans have just about had it, really. We had a good run, but let's just sit back, reveal our tummies, and let them tickle us for a change. Eh? Alright. And cats